Hello, everyone. I'm AT Storm Track meteorologist Austin Haskins. It was a really cool weekend across western Wisconsin. Temperatures running well below average, though yesterday for Father's Day was a little bit better. We had a few peaks of sun. It was a little bit warmer as highs were closer to 70. And we stayed rain-free, which was a good thing. But rain and storm chances are going to be returning. In fact, we have a threat for severe weather later this afternoon, and especially as we head into this evening. We'll talk about that. And the thunderstorm and rain chances do persist going forward. There will be times where the coverage is a little bit higher than others. And then we're also going to be staying on the humid side as well. But let's first start with where things are this morning. So we have an area of low pressure over the Dakotas this morning, a warm front moving through Sioux Falls, and we have a kind of a weakening line of showers and storms moving into western Minnesota as of 7 a.m. These were producing some significant wind gusts overnight along the South and North Dakota border. Had a couple of showers and storms across southern Minnesota into southern Wisconsin. We've had a few pop-up showers and storms here east of Highway 53, but those have remained below severe levels. Now, outside of that, we'll get into this here in a second, but I also want to mention that it's going to be pretty warm today. Highs in the low to mid 80s, upper 70s for Medford. So you take that, dew points are going to be up in the 60s today as well. In fact, here's the forecast. So the temperatures are on top. The dew points are below that in the green. And you can see those dew points are going to be well into the 60s, maybe in a few cases approaching 70 degrees. So you take that and combined with those temperatures in the lower 80s, that's going to push the feels like temperatures at times into the mid to possibly even the upper 80s. So here you can see the feels like temperatures are in blue, the actual air temperatures there in white just below that. So it's going to be warm. It's going to be rather humid today, and that is going to fuel the threat with that low pressure system and cold front approaching our area, the threat for strong to possibly even severe storms. So we have a level 1 and a level 2 risk for severe weather in place. The level 2 risk runs from about Hawkins to Stanley to Osseo down to Galesville and west. And then the area in orange here, which is really roughly Highway 63 and areas west, including areas from Red Wing and west, that's a level 3 out of 5, and that goes back into central Minnesota and back towards Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So this means we have a chance for scattered to numerous severe storms in the forecast for this afternoon and into this evening. And all hazards are on the table. The tornado threat is in the very low to low category. The area in brown is in that low category. The wind threat and hail threat are mostly in that medium category, though there is a higher threat for the large hail in that enhanced risk area, that level 3 risk. So that's from River Falls and Luck and areas west. But it is a bit of a conditional threat today across the area with this threat for severe weather. And we're going to go through that right now. Again, the level 1 to 3 risk. Highest chances along and west of Highway 27 where that level 2 and level 3 risk are in place. All modes are possible. The hail and wind are the primary threats. Flooding is not expected because the storms are going to move through pretty quickly. It could produce an inch or two of rain in spots, but we're not going to see any widespread flooding or anything like that. But the risk is conditional, and overall confidence on this is pretty low because the models have been struggling a little bit with the shower and storm chances this morning and just kind of how things are going to play out today. You're going to see that here in a moment. But morning rain and some other factors could really limit that threat for this afternoon and evening. But the rough timing, it's a big window with the timing kind of fluctuating a little bit, but it's looking to be as early as 3 p.m. to as late as midnight tonight. So just remain weather aware if you are going to be out and about this afternoon and evening, have ways to get those weather alerts as well. So let's take you through future track. And if we end up seeing sunshine today, that's going to make the atmosphere more conducive and more energy for storms to work with that could lead to the showers and storms developing this afternoon. And here's 4:30, and you can see it's got a nasty line of storms from Duluth all the way down to Red Wing, and then moving through the area would move through the 53 corridor around that 5-6 p.m. time frame, but then it's out of here by about 8 p.m. this evening with a few more showers and storms maybe south of Highway 64. Here's the HRRR model. This one shows at least a slightly better grasp on those showers and storms this morning. Now, there may be some activity that develops as early as noon, 1 o'clock today, and then there may be some isolated activity during the mid-afternoon hours. This one does show that line coming through, but about 3 to 4 hours later. This is 7:30 this evening. You can see the line from about Rice Lake down to River Falls and Red Wing, and then quickly moving south and east by 10:30. It's down by Marshfield, Black River Falls, and approaching La Crosse, and then it's out of here during the early overnight hours. So there's still a lot of question marks on how things could pan out today. And the Storm Prediction Center will update their outlooks at around 8 a.m., 11:30 a.m., and then during that 2:30, 3 p.m. time frame this afternoon. So we'll have to see if the risk either goes up or goes down. But for us to have a lower severe risk today, we would want the clouds to stick around and or more rain and storms to develop and track through during the daytime hours. That would limit the energy and that would limit our severe potential. But regardless of what happens, just be sure to remain weather aware and have ways to get those alerts. And Matt and I will be here to keep everyone updated. Also, going away from that, quickly want to talk about the dew points because it is going to feel kind of sticky around the area for the next couple of days. The dew points today and even part of tomorrow into that humid category, but I do think it will drop down a little bit tomorrow and Wednesday behind that cold front that could fuel the strong to severe storm threat this afternoon and evening. But look what happens by the weekend. We're actually going to see a little bit of a ridge in the jet stream build, so that's going to push the storm chances a little bit further to the north, so we should actually see at least a decent weekend ahead. But temperatures are going to be going up, the dew points are going to be going up, and that could push those heat index values well into the 90s across the area. In fact, you can see this week high temperatures basically right around 80 degrees. Today a little bit above that. But look at Saturday and Sunday. Highs around 88 to 89 degrees. You factor in those dew points in the 70s, and you're talking heat index values well into the 90s. So something that we're going to be monitoring as we head into the weekend.